We have some really cool announcements coming. So Rich and I are teaming up on a book about remodeling, and specifically remodeling cost, timelines, what we call scope of work. And I'm going to pay homage to Drew Farnese, who was the first one to say that I heard scope of work services. What he said at his REI back then was, you cannot come up with a budget until you come up with your scope of work. And I know you believe in this. I know that you've built a company. What's great about Rich is he's done enough deals, real estate transactions, to then see a need in the market and literally build a company that helps with that need. And then Rich and I are partnering up to basically take that and put it on steroids. We're writing a book about scope of work services. Number one, because we need it to scale our own portfolios. That's a given. And then also we see a need within the market, because you can get online and you can figure out your sales price, your future comp. There's a lot of realtors that can do that. You can also know what a property will rent for. And most of the times you know what somebody is asking for a property. My experience has been sometimes when you're buying directly, they want you to give them the price, which is fine. Yep. So then, Rich, talk to us about this middle ground, right? You have the future ARV, you have the current price. You're not sure if you're going to maybe sell it or rent it. And then there's this middle ground. Why do so many people, including working with contractors, struggle with the middle ground?
Yeah, so it's always that question of, what is this thing going to cost to renovate? And I can't answer that for you, right? We have to figure out exactly what it is you want. So imagine you saying, hey, bake me a cake, right? Okay, I might give you a vanilla one layer, something real simple cake, right? And you were thinking, oh no, I want the one that's all decorated. I want it to be red velvet, all this stuff. And you weren't clear enough with me. I wasn't clear enough with you what I was going to deliver, right? That happens every day in our real estate transactions, every day. So it's hard to define what that is unless you are the one telling what your vision is. And that's where the scope of work comes in.
So let's take the cake analogy and directly apply it to something that is part of our scope of work services, right? Which is, I'm gonna use an example of a bathroom.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, how much is a bathroom? Okay. Well, are we replacing all of the drain lines? Are we replacing all of the supply lines? Are we putting on quarter turn shutoffs on each of the supply lines? Are we reconfiguring the bathroom? Are we doing tile shower walls? Or is the tub the correct size where we can do direct to stud shower liners? Like, just that right there is, it's
you just described a difference of $5,000.
It's
between
yes, exactly, and that's not $5,000 on a $500,000 budget. That's $5,000 on maybe a $5,000 budget. That's the difference of having a $10,000 bathroom fully remodeled. You will have zero maintenance costs for the next 10 years. That's the difference of, most of these properties, right? You and I are both in the Philadelphia market. So we're buying properties that some of are 100 years old. A lot of times that bathroom wasn't even there in that current configuration when the property was built. Many times builders were incentivized to get things done cheaper back then, right? Still like they are today. So instead of having maybe a 2x8, you have a 2x6. And that's why your bathroom is sagging, because it didn't have that certain configuration. Somebody changed where one of the drains was, and they cut the 2x6 in half. It's not even right.
We see it all the time.
Alone the last landlord that let it leak for 30 years.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the difference, that $5,000 difference, when you add that to another bathroom, when you add that to a kitchen, when you add that to the electrical system, that's where somebody's thinking they're going to spend $50,000 on a property, and now they're at 80.
Yep.
And
or 100.
It's always, or the 100, and it's the contractor's fault. The contractor's the bad guy. And talk to us about what you've helped to solve this in the marketplace, this middle ground.
Sure.